1970 Buick LeSabre. Turbo 350 build. Nearly complete. I need a filter for it. I got a new torque converter. And just a couple things I noticed the book didn't tell me about. Of course, most everything's with the short tail. This is the longer tail, and they use these in pickup trucks too. And maybe because this is a big car, that's why they put it in my car. But there's a little piece in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Anyway, in the book it didn't tell me to put it in. I was following the book, unfortunately. So I had to, then after I put this on, I realized that wasn't in there. It was sitting over here on the bench. But at least I found out why it was sitting right here on the stand. So I had to undo the 4 bolts, take this off, and put that piece on. It has another seal inside it. So I think what it does is when your driveline comes in here, it actually goes inside that. So you have a seal here and another seal over here. It's just an extra, you know, just an extra added thing. And I think even if I left it off, it wouldn't have made a big difference. But I feel better that it's on. And one other thing I do different than what most books say is these couple pieces here. I put those on after I get the transmission in. And what that is, it's actually your kick down, or they call it the detent, but it's your kick down cable. I don't know if I can find it from here, but you can see it laying there on the ground. And that's the speedometer. Well, we'll get in there and take a look. I don't know. I don't always get underneath the car on these videos, but when it's something important, you know, I'll go the extra mile. That's your speedometer cable, vacuum line there, and that's my transmission lines, which I will blow those out with air before I put the transmission in. It's one of the things you're supposed to do when you put in a new one. And I put in a few transmissions and I've learned a lot more. It doesn't go into that in the Haynes manual. And I don't think most of these rebuild things, they don't. And there's the detent that I was talking about. I leave that in, and I, you know, hook up that piece that's on the bench to this after it's installed. So I could really put my filter in that I don't have after the transmission's in. I don't know why they take it off the top and then pull it out with the transmission. Seems to me it makes more sense to do it this way. I don't know if it's easier, I just think it is. So, but this will get jacked up a little bit higher because I'm going to pick up the back of the car up higher than it is now. Yeah. I think that flex plate or flywheel will be good enough for one more time. Starter's new. Anyway, I'll get under here and do some cleanup. I'd like to see this all shiny black like the cross member myself, all this frame under here. But I don't know how much we're gonna do with that. We'll do quite a bit, I think. Maybe, maybe not. I'll just have to see what my mood is when I get after it, you know. The more time you spend at cleaning, the less time you spend driving. But yeah, floorboards look good from underneath. Anyway, I don't see the So there you go. That's how I do it. One of the things you've got to do anyway when you begin this is pull that pan off. And it's probably the greatest indicator of the condition of your transmission. You know, if you find a whole bunch of metal in there, you know it's no good. In this case, I had no low gear or reverse, so the car wouldn't move. Which means the low reverse clutch was out. And I wish it was easy to get to, but it's actually the one at the bottom portion of the case. That flywheel pack is, clutch pack. Well, yeah. I know the car was abused, but anyway, Turbo 400 would be an improvement, and it was actually an option for a four barrel V8, which is what I have now. But really, the main thing you need is somebody behind the wheel who knows how to drive, who isn't trying to constantly burn them off all the time, you know, and sliding it around corners and bending up the rear rims by slamming it into the corner while the tires are spinning going around. That's what I need not to happen. I know somebody was doing that because they bent two of the rims. So one of them's probably sitting right over there. You can't use them anymore after that. I never heard of somebody having a rim straightener that I know of, although I suppose it's possible. So we'll get a filter, I think, and put that in and flip it over, and there's a few more seals I can put in my kit. You know, for your, they would go right here. I could probably do it like this, but I'll flip it over and do it. One here, and there was something else, I think. Mentioned a couple of them. So, yeah. Anyway, pretty happy right now. The transmission's all put together. I got a new torque converter. And this should be a lot of fun again. Yeah. And really, if you want to take off the line on this one, the way you want to do is, it's an automatic, so you just hold the brake and press down on the gas a little and drop the brake, and away you go. And anyone knows anything about, you know, racing anyway, when you're burning the tires off, you're not going anywhere. You're just braking traction, which doesn't do you anything. It certainly isn't getting you towards that finish line. I know that you see that a lot in drag racing, but if you could get a car that would move down that track without doing that, you'd be the winner. So this is John Riddy with Riddy Racing, signing off.